Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Wealth Guardians radio program. Brice is with me today here in studio, and we are comfortably set in December, the last month of 2020. Christmas is upon us.
Is it too early for me to say ho, ho, ho? That wasn't quite it. Let's hear your best ho, 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 Doug.
Humbug, humbug.
There you go. That's you. I think that's actually quite spot on.
2020, humbug, humbug. Good gracious.
Ho, 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 everybody out there. Hope you're having a good holiday season thus far. This is the Wealth Guardians radio show, so thank you for taking a little bit of your day and tuning in to hear what we might have to say in the world of retirement planning. I am Brice Payne. I'm in chair 2. Doug is over there in chair 1. If you were listening last week, then
scolded you a little, didn't I?
You get that one. Yes, you did. So, Doug, who do we want to give a tip of the hat to this week before we get started?
You know, I tell you what, everybody. This has been such a year. Everybody gets a tip of the hat.
If you're living and breathing, you get a tip of the hat.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Very good. But, you know, as we always do, we do give a special tip of the hat to our men and women in uniform out there, because you guys do make the sacrifices so that the rest of us may live our lives in a peaceful, stable world. And you've had your work cut out for you this year. So thank you for all that you do. A special tip of the hat to you all as well. And you all tuned in on a good day, because this is our questions, our listener questions of the month episode. So we've got some questions coming out there from around the area. People who are preparing for retirement, and they want to pick our brains on a little bit of wisdom. So you all out there listening will benefit from this as well. So Doug, let's go ahead and dive right into it here.
Sure, let's do.
Harold is writing us, and he says, Doug and Brice, and this is Harold in Danville. Hi, Harold. I'm still working, and I plan to work for at least another 2 years. All right. But I am now old enough to start taking my Social Security without being limited on how much income I can earn. So that must mean that you are either 66 or 67. Is this a recommended strategy to take Social Security while still working?
Well, Brice, what is our favorite answer to a question like that?
It depends.
It depends.
Every time it depends. And one of the things it's going to depend on, and Doug, I'll let you chime in here as well, of course.
Sure.
But Harold, if you don't need to take Social Security, if your income from your work is still enough for you to live on, and you think that you are going to be living a normal length of life out there, then it probably makes sense, without us knowing all the details, it probably makes sense for you not to file if you don't need it. And the reason is that every year that you don't file for Social Security up until the age of 70, the benefit grows at 8%. And technically speaking, for every month that you don't file, it grows at 1/12 of 8%. There is no other guaranteed investment out there that Doug or I know of anyway that is guaranteed to grow at 8%. At least a no-risk investment. So if you can hold off on it, then it probably makes sense for you long-term to have just lived off of your earned income and let that puppy grow for a little bit. Doug, what are your thoughts?
Well, you know, Brice, over the years, you and I have done literally thousands of Social Security optimization reports for our folks out there.
And I love each and every one that we do.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, just about every single case says wait to take your Social Security benefits, but there's always an exception to that rule.
Some outliers, yeah.
And it's so important for a guy like this, Harold, anybody really who's listening, to get that retirement plan done that we talk about all the time, because the Social Security is an intricate piece of your retirement plan. It has to be interwoven with all the other moving parts that you have, your 401ks, your IRAs, your Roths, that kind of stuff. So it all works together, folks, and it's amazing if you do the right Social Security filing strategy, what it does in terms of lengthening your investable assets over your lifespan.
Yeah, how long they last, or how much you have left at a certain age. Absolutely. So, Harold, as we started off your answer, it depends. Most often, it would be if you don't need to file for them, don't file for them until age 70. But there are outlying cases that might be an exception to that. So in order for us to give you a definitive answer, please give us a call at 336-391-3409, and we'd be happy to set up a time to talk with you about that. Thank you for the question, Harold. Doug, we're going to move on now to Randall, who comes from us in our own backyard, and Clemens here. And Randall says, Doug and Brice, as I've researched different financial licenses and designations, it seems that many of them are similar, but they also have their differences. Is there a particular license or designation I should be looking for in an advisor? Doug, you and I are both RICP certified, but you're more familiar. You've also got the Chartered Financial Consultant. Talk to us about the different designations out there.
It's actually a really good question.
It is.
I would tell you if you are looking at an advisor who has designations after their last name, that number one shows you that particular advisor has a desire to continue to learn above and beyond what's required just to get a license to sell a product.
Very true.
Now, there's some designations out there that have a higher, what's the word I'm trying to use, pecking order, I guess, or
more weight to it.
More weight, more academic rigor. And there's also designations that are specific to a certain type of practice. We specialize in retirement planning. You mentioned RICP. That's Retirement Income Certified Professional. You have to take the courses from the American College, pass those to get that. It is specifically focused on retirement planning.
And you have to keep it up, too, as most of these designations.
Almost all of them you have to do continuing education for. But some of the main ones you want to look for are the Certified Financial Planner, CFP, Chartered Financial Consultant, essentially the same thing as a CFP. The RICP, as I mentioned, CLU, Chartered Life Underwriter, that's a good one. CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst. Now, that one is a designation that typically you only find Wall Street analysts get, and it's a very rigorous designation to get. I would put it up there with a CPA.
Oh, wow.
But, at least if you find an advisor who has some initials after their last name, they're serious about their craft. And that's just the way I would put it. It's I've gathered a few over the years, and Brice is gathering some as we speak. So good question, though. Yeah,
thank you, Randall. We appreciate that, and thank you for listening. Okay, Doug, let's talk about, you've got something else in your hand here.
I do. You sent me last night, you texted me this chart, which I thought was very interesting. We were talking a moment ago about retirement planning, but it's about this fellow who has a $500,000 IRA. He's 60 years old. And we talk about RMDs. Well, over his life expectancy, he will pay taxes on just the RMD of that account of $210,000.
Assuming, what tax bracket does that assume he's in?
That assumes he's in the 25% tax bracket.
Okay.
So if he converted that to a Roth IRA.
So you said, let's back up just for a second. So you said he would pay, if he left it in an IRA and did no Roth conversion with it, he would have paid how much in taxes?
$210,000.
Off of $500,000. Okay, yeah. $210 off of $500 if he left it in an IRA. Okay, go ahead.
So if he converts it to a Roth, he'll pay $125,000 in taxes, but never again pay taxes on distributions from that Roth.
Right, because Roth is now completely tax-free after that point. So $125,000 compared to $210,000.
It's, we talk about doing Roth conversions all the time on this program, and we talk to it about with our clients all the time because it just really makes a lot of sense if you think taxes will be higher in the future. But that chart just brings it home. I mean, it spells it out in black and white how much money you're going to pay in taxes just on the RMD in your life expectancy.
Yeah, so if you can clean those taxes off early, it's going to be a hit for you in the year that you do it, obviously. But looking ahead 10, 15 years or so, that's when the tax payoffs really start working in your favor. So, folks, that is just one of the many things that we look at and work with in long-term tax and financial planning for you. So if that is something that makes sense to you, we're going to tell you right now how to get a hold of us, 336-391-3409.
So I'm guessing maybe a question or two here struck a chord with you. maybe there's something we didn't cover that's on your mind. But if you got that burning financial question and you're wondering if we can help, then...
Yeah, if any of these things that we've talked about are ringing true to you, I encourage you, Doug encourages you to give us a call. You don't have to do it right now. You can do it right now. Joy's standing by. But we love hearing from our listeners, and many of you just have a simple question, and sometimes we end up being able to help you put together that absolutely full-blown financial plan that is invaluable to you. And we're here to help you gain more confidence in your financial plan, but... the caveat is that we can't reach out to you. You have to reach out to us to start the conversation.
So give us a call. Do it right now. Just leave a voicemail. Just let us know what's on your mind. Let us know if you're interested in having that complimentary financial review we talk about. And we're going to call you back on Monday, and we'll schedule that visit. So when you come in, here's what you can expect. In addition to spending time getting to know each other, we're going to analyze your current portfolio. We're going to run a fee report showing you what costs you actually are incurring. We're going to analyze your current portfolio for risk. And we're also going to show you what inflation's impact on your plan is now and 20 to 30 years down the road. And if you haven't considered the impact of taxes on retirement, then we're going to make sure your new plan takes the possibility of likely rising taxes seriously. This is how you can get much more accurate look at your financial and retirement health. And it's how you get answers to those burning questions that are on your mind.
Yeah, all you got to do, folks, is give us a call, 336-391-3409. It's 336-391-3409. You can also visit us online at thewealthguardians.com. Now, we're quickly coming up on a break here. Doug, here's our trivia question.
Uh-oh.
On December 7th, 1787, the first state ratified the U.S. Constitution. Which state was it? Folks, stick around. See if you know the answer to that. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Ho, 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 and welcome back to the Wealth Guardians radio show. You've got Doug Ray in Chair 1 and Brice Payne demoted to Chair 2 here. Thank you for sticking around through the break, folks. And just as a quick reminder who we are, for anyone out there listening, if you're 5 to 7 years from retirement and you want to confirm that you're making the best decision for retirement, well, I've got good news, good holiday news for you. We offer a no-cost, no-obligation second review so you can understand and learn how to retire the job, yet keep the paycheck. All you got to do is pick up the phone device, 336-391-3409, or the numbers you want to punch into that in that order, 336-391-3409. Now, before the break, we asked a trivia question of you. That trivia question was, on December 7th, 1787, the first state ratified the U.S. Constitution. Which state was it? Doug, do you have any idea which state it was? I'm going to give you a clue. I'm going to give you a clue. It wasn't Hawaii.
Yeah, no, I guess not. It became a state after I was born. Pure guess, New Hampshire.
You're close. Geographically, you're close. It's on the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's Delaware. And folks, I know that some of you out there listening probably came here from Delaware, as people do tend to come south in their later years from the north. And you probably knew that answer. And you also know that that's why its nickname is the first state. So we're the first in flight down here in North Carolina, but that was the first state, and that is why it's called the first state. A couple other little interesting facts about this that I have learned while digging this up here. The U.S. Constitution, Doug, is 4,400 words long. It is the oldest and the shortest written Constitution in existence. All right, that's pretty cool. Did you know that Pennsylvania is spelled wrong in the Constitution? They spelled it with one N.
No, I did not know that.
So I wonder if there's actually a little controversy if the Pennsylvania with two N's is actually a state because of that.
So here's another bit of trivia since you mentioned North Carolina's first in flight. Did you know that I am related to the Wright brothers?
No way. Both of them?
Both of them. Both of them. Yeah, my grandmother was a Wright.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No pun on words intended there. How about that? Well, that is cool.
Now, you know, folks, Brice is sitting in chair number 2, and he makes light of it. But let me tell you something. That's an important job. Chair number 2.
This is the producer's
He
chair.
runs the board and the computer and talks at the same time. I just need to give him a stick of gum.
Oh, I can't do that. No, that's asking too much of me. So here we go. A couple other little facts about the Constitution. Did you know, I did not know this, that Thomas Jefferson was in France at the time as a U.S. minister, and John Adams was in the U.K. at the time as a U.S. delegate minister. So neither of them signed the Constitution.
Interesting.
I had no idea about that. Now, what day is Constitution Day? Do you know that?
Oh, gosh.
It is not July 4th.
No, it's not. I don't know.
It's September 17th, and that marks the day that the framers signed it. So, all right. Well, very good, folks. Delaware.
That's my wife's birthday.
Is it? Mm-hmm. Oh, so she's a framer.
Mm-hmm. She's a framer.
Very good. All right. Well, let's go ahead now and move on to the rest of our very important listener questions out there. And coming to us now is Katrina, and Katrina's in Burlington. Hi, Katrina. She says, Doug and Brice, my husband isn't inclined to do any retirement planning because he says he's just going to keep working. Is this mindset okay? I guess I'm worried about what happens if he can't keep working, even if he wants to. So what Katrina wants here, Doug, is a plan B, it sounds like, if plan A doesn't work out, and Katrina's husband sees no need for a plan B.
Well, we tell everybody, you're going to know when time comes to retire. Now, he may very well have a job that he loves and may be able to perform well in his 70s, even 80s. I know there's a lot of financial advisors who are working in their 80s. But at some point, you better have at least an alternative plan. It wouldn't hurt.
It does not hurt.
We do these plans for you folks free of charge with no obligation.
No cost, no obligation is what we say.
So
the only investment that you, Katrina, and your husband would be making is some free time to come over here and go through our meeting process. Granted, it's not just one meeting. It's not one and done. This takes some time. So you would be investing your time into it. But if your husband likes working, power to him. Great. But almost everybody stops working at some point, unless they're passing away unexpectedly. They'd stop working at some point, no matter how much they love the job. And it's a really smart idea to have a plan when that case happens. So, yeah, you can give us a call, 336-391-3409. Doug doesn't bite. I don't bite. And we would be happy to sit down and let you know kind of what that plan B might look like for you and how you might be able to improve that plan B should it ever come around. So thank you for your question, Katrina, and talk some sense into your husband and come in and sit down with us. All right, Doug, our next question comes from Barrett in High Point. And Barrett says, hi, Doug and Brice. Hi, Barrett. I am worried about what 2021 is going to bring after how crazy 2020 was. Okay, you are not alone in that, Barrett, I assure you. Is there a way I can stay out of the craziness of the market and still get prepared for retirement? And before we answer that question, Barrett, that's a great question. I'm going to, Doug, how every year we welcome in the new year and we're so happy to see the old year gone every year, whether it was 1980, 1990, 2000, whatever. We're like, oh, finally get out of here that year. And then halfway through the next year, we're kind of excited to see I'm ready for the new year to begin.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, last year wasn't that bad. How bad is 2021 going to be if we're looking halfway through the year and saying, boy, I wish 2020 was back? That's scary.
God, I don't even want to think about that one. Ooh.
All right. So, Doug, Barrett, is there a way that Barrett can stay out of the craziness of the market and still get prepared for retirement? Short answer is yes.
Yeah, Barrett, go buy a couple 100 acres up in North Dakota. See ya.
Okay. And
in all seriousness,
that's not necessarily our exact recommendation to you, Barrett.
No, really. We don't know what 21 is going to bring. Hopefully it's going to be a better year than 20. I just can't imagine it being worse. But fact of the matter is, it is what it is. And you just got to meet it head on and be prepared. And that's what we talk about. Prior planning prevents, what you say. Performance.
Yes.
I'm not going to say it on the radio.
Yep, that's right.
It's poor performance.
Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Yeah, that's not what I was thinking about. But anyway, you got to have a plan. You just have to have a plan and be ready for all contingencies. If 21 is worse than 20, you got to be prepared for that. Our plans are prepared for that. We build our retirement plans based on bad years. That's what we do. We tell everybody, that we're building you a retirement plan that should another 2008 market downturn occur, and it will.
Right.
then we're going to limit your downside. Our goal is to limit to around 9-10%.
That's correct. And so because we're retirement planners, most of the people that come to us, Barrett, are in a similar stage of mind as you, is they are not nearly as risky now as they were 10, 20 years ago, and they want to still obviously participate in the upside of the market, but they don't want to be susceptible to those double-digit losses like they were in the past. And so that is what we design our portfolios around, as Doug was saying. So the short answer, Barrett, is yes, there are ways to arrange your portfolio so that you do not have to endure the full craziness of the market. And we would love to be able to help you out with that. 336-391-3409 is all you got to do, is to give us a call and set up a time to meet with us. Doug, I think we got time for another one here. This is Ellen in Advance. And Ellen is coming to us, and she says, Doug and Brice, we have the opportunity to refinance our house at a lower interest rate, but the problem is that it would be a 15-year mortgage, and we only have 5 years left to pay now. We're 60 years old, and the idea of still having a house payment until we're 75 seems like a bad idea. What do you think?
Well, first off, you don't have to use a 15-year mortgage. You can find a company that'll reset your mortgage at 5 years if you want. But here's what you need to do first. You need to figure out what your costs are going to be to refinance versus the interest you're going to pay over the next 5 years. And if it's cheaper for you to refinance, then do so. If it isn't, then just continue to pay your mortgage and then pay it ahead. If you can, pay some ahead, maybe pay it off in 4 years or 3 years.
Absolutely. And Doug, I want to stop on the first sentence that you said there, because I find when people come into us and they ask us some of these planning questions, should I pay this off? Should I take out another HELOC or whatnot? Most people are not aware of that first sentence that you did, that if you've got 5 years left on a mortgage, they don't want to refi because they think they automatically have to start off at a bare minimum of 15 years. Mm-hmm. Folks, you do not have to do that. You can customize a mortgage. If you've only got 5 years left, you can refi for another 5 years. And that makes it real easy, Doug, to tell how much those fees are going to cost them, because you're just doing an apples to apples comparison.
Absolutely.
If you're doing a 5 to 15 years, then you're not comparing apples to apples, and it's a little bit harder to do the math. But Ellen, that is absolutely. If you can lower that interest rate by at least a point, it can make a lot of sense, particularly if you're keeping the years the same. So thank you for that question. We appreciate it. And if you'd like a fuller list of all the things that we can help you out with and to make sure that all the puzzle pieces are fitting, please give us a call, 336-391-3409. All right, one more is coming at us, Doug, from Steve. Steve is writing us from Bermuda Run, and he says, Doug and Brice, I have a variable annuity, that seems to have a nice income guarantee associated with it, but I've heard several people say that variable annuities are usually a bad deal. What am I missing? Doug, we don't use variable annuities here at our firm.
No, we don't, for a lot of reasons. They have 100% of the downside risk as well as 100% of the upside potential. They're also loaded with fees.
A lot of fees in those.
Now, you're talking about your guaranteed income account side of that variable annuity. You're paying a fee for that, probably as much as 1.25%
at least.
Yeah. If you bought it for that reason in particular, to at some point in the future turn that thing into a lifetime income or a pension, then you maybe made a good decision. If you bought it for other reasons, then maybe it's not such a good decision. You probably also ought to get another opinion, a second opinion on it. Bring it in to us. We'll sit down and do a risk-alize report and a fee analysis on it for you.
Got to bring in the whole statement, though.
Yep. And we'll analyze that income account and see if it makes any sense. Is it growing at 5%, 6%, 4%,
What are the fees on it? And if there is a better option out there for you, Steve, then we can go over the pros and the cons of 1035ing that or transferring that to another annuity. That's not something that is done commonly. All of the pieces have to fit perfectly for that. We're not recommending that you just automatically go out there and do that. Right. There's a lot of things that you have to weigh in on that, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense to do that no matter how costly your variable annuity is now. But there are times where that does make sense, and if it does, you would certainly want to know that and make that decision sooner than later. We appreciate the call, Steve. Doug, one more time, our phone number is 336-391-3409. It's getting ever closer to Christmas. I hope you have a good weekend. And are you having family coming in for the holiday at all, Doug?
Yeah, we are. We've got my younger son coming in, and his young lady's going to fly in Christmas Day, and we're going to have a nice little Christmas dinner.
Very good. All right. I'm happy for you. And you and Sherry, have happy holidays. Everyone else out there, stay safe, stay warm, and ho, ho, ho. Thanks for tuning in.